The following marketing information and discussion is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as professional guidance or consultancy. You should find an agency for that. Comexis is a digital marketing agency, so feel free to hire us. But otherwise, just enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Buyer's Journey by Comexis, a discussion-based podcast on the ever-changing marketing landscape. I'm Matthew McGroarty, the social media content producer here at Comexis.
And I'm Josh Lyons, the digital marketing coordinator here at Comexis.
And today we are absent of Len. He is out all this week, so we'll once again be covering podcasting duties in his stead. Today we are talking about Facebook making changes to its algorithm to promote worthwhile and close friend content based on some survey data that they have gathered. So in part, some of this is coming from Josh Constant on TechCrunch. He had a great article and some really interesting takes on this change. And of course, a lot of this information is coming directly from Facebook's blog post that will be linked in the description. Both of these articles will be linked in the description. So for those of you who don't know, in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, Facebook radically changed their newsfeed algorithm so that it would put more of a focus on your friends and family's content as opposed to the content from pages and different publishers and things like that. And that sort of marked the beginning of, or the final, I guess, either the beginning of or the final nail in the coffin of the old free stuff, where basically now it became pay to play. Before, organic was a really good way to make it on Facebook, and to some extent you can get lucky, but at the end of the day, it became pay to play, and that algorithm change in 2018 really cemented that fact. And now we have something that is basically going to cement it even further. So Facebook's going to be changing their algorithm to basically preference your friends' content based on a couple different factors. Here's just a big quote excerpt from the Facebook blog. Quote, "We've historically predicted who people might want to hear from based on signals like how often they interact with a given friend, how many mutual friends they have, and whether they mark someone as a close friend. Now, in addition to understanding these signals, we've begun surveying people on Facebook to ask them to list the friends they are closest to." This is anecdotal, but it's almost like a top 8 on MySpace or something.
Right.
Though I guess it's private. But anyway, quote, "We look at the patterns that emerge from the results, some of which include being tagged in the same photos, continuously reacting and commenting on the same posts, and checking in at the same places, and then use these patterns to inform our algorithm. This direct feedback helps us better predict which friends people may want to hear from the most. This doesn't mean," they point this out, "this doesn't mean newsfeed will be limited to posts from only certain people, and it doesn't mean you will necessarily see more friend content. Rather, you will likely see posts from those you have close relationships higher in your newsfeed. We also know that whomever you want to hear from right now may not be who you want to hear from in a year or even a few months. So the prediction models are going to be continuously changing based on how you interact and other things like that." Josh Constant points out that Zuckerberg had this stated goal of they don't want more time spent on the site, they want better time spent on the site. And there's this kind of theory that if you have bad experiences on something on Facebook, you're less likely to come back to it repeatedly. But if you have better experiences, even if they're for short amounts of time, you're more likely to come back. So, the first thought that comes to mind after hearing that is, well, what about the ad dollars? Well, we know the ad impressions have actually been going down compared to like Instagram. So it makes more sense that they would want to do this. So again, they're not going to be showing less content from pages or from your other friends, but they're definitely going to be surfacing on the top the things that are most relevant to you and people who you want to hear from the most. So Josh, what do you think about this?
I mean, I think it's smart on both a personal level and also an ad dollar level, because one, for someone like you or me, if we're on Facebook and the first 5 to 10 posts, let's just say for example, are your friends, you're more likely to continue to be scrolling on Facebook, to then hit all of the other relevant content, whether it's the pages or whatever that's coming organically. But also it forces you and other people to use the pay to play model and do more advertising on the advertising platform. So Facebook's finding a way to help add the personal touch to their platform so people stay on it more organically, but then also forcing businesses to pay more to put ads on their site. So for Facebook, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is definitely let's try and increase the good quality time our users have. However, it does reinforce the pay-to-play model, because if it's only the pages that you're super relevant to, or your friends, they're less, when it comes to advertising, they're important for keeping users, but they're not important for typically actually, helping advertisers, right? It's going to make it so that your organic is likely going to be even weaker,
right?
Because now you have to have a even more deeply embedded audience that cares to have your posts ideally rise to the top. Mm-hmm. And even then, they're still going to be competing with the organic posts from friends and family. I will say, I think from a user experience, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not going on Facebook to see ads. And I'm interested in seeing, with the new Facebook remodel that is coming soon, how this is going to sort of tie in with that, because, Josh Constant actually mentions that, Facebook is having trouble, as we've talked about before as well, with places like Instagram becoming more popular because they're highly visual, they're more pleasant to scroll through, same thing with Snapchat. So this might be another way to tackle it, be like, hey, this is the stuff you actually care about, now here's everything below it, et cetera, et cetera. Also, Constantine points out that Facebook has been trying to get rid of certain types of content, so minimizing clickbait, minimizing bad ads, minimizing unoriginal videos that just rip from other things, and other, nefarious, in quotes, and just borderline content, as they call it, that comes close, but that doesn't technically break rules. So they've been cracking down on stuff like that. And in general, I mean, it does two things: makes the place more fun to go to and more enjoyable and less annoying, and it increases the confidence from advertisers.
I think the one question I have, which you may or may not know the answer to, is, so they're changing the algorithm to promote worthwhile and close friend content. Would the worthwhile content be the certain pages?
The pages, yeah.
Okay. So it does. So if you have a page that you enjoy, it's more likely to pop up organically at the top with your friends, rather than it being the top of it's all of your friends, and then it starts to become relevant.
I'm assuming they're going to use the same tech of this is how often you've liked this page, so we're going to show you more stuff from that.
Okay. So it still does help the pages with
mm-hmm.
that your audience is on, because it actually might pop yours up closer to the top instead of them having to scroll to find it.
It encourages engagement, right? So I think on one hand it's not a death knell to pages and things like that, because they're still important, but it's clear that you need an entrenched audience already there interacting with your posts to increase the likelihood of them coming to the top. To be fair, you always needed an audience to increase the likelihood of being seen on Facebook, so that really doesn't change.
Right.
But it does, I think, encourage even more so the pay-to-play model, because there's a chance that, let's just say theoretically you're a Facebook user and you're like the model that Mark Zuckerberg suggested, which is we don't want you to stay on for as long, we want you to have better time here. Well, maybe I go on for a minute, and if I'm only on for a minute, how many posts am I seeing if you see one long text post, right? Let's just assume you see 15 posts in a minute. Mm-hmm. If most of them are your friends, and then there's maybe two, let's just say there's 2 or 3 good pages in there, then you're done.
Right.
So you have to get in there somehow, and paying for advertising is how you do it. But I'm really interested in seeing how this goes, and how this especially works with other new visual updates. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. and go from there. And we'll also let you know if we see any numbers changes through different organic traffic and things like that. So that's all for today's episode of The Buyer's Journey. Check us out on Comexis.com, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts, and follow us on Twitter at @buyers_journey. Thanks for listening.